Hi everyone, my name is Nadia Ilyasada, and the activity I picked, or I should say I wanted to do for the cross-gender leisure activity project was rock climbing. So I did rock climbing, and that's me in the picture. And you can see by my head tilting back that how tall or high that rocks were, and I was really lost and confused in that picture. So first, I wanna talk about the history of rock climbing a little bit, and then I would like to share my experience that I gained while doing this activity, the fun I had, and how scared I was while doing rock climbing. So, rock climbing used to be seen this was just as a part of the mountaineering, where mountaineers would climb routes to prepare themselves for a climbing expectation. It was considered and is still considered as being very challenging, and it was a form of training in order to improve their climbing skills. And in 1920s, rock climbing became an essential factor in the United States. In 1950s, it was later that rock climbing was considered as a sport on its own. There are indoor rock climbing and also there's outdoor climbing, and there are different styles for rock climbing. Some people does with the use of ropes and or without ropes, and others with gears, and also, as I said, indoors and outdoors rock climbing. So as I mentioned that there's indoor rock climbing and also outdoor climbing. But if a person is a new learner, just as I was, and if they wanted to learn rock climbing for the first time, indoor rock climbing is a really nice way to start with, because I think it's not that dangerous as it's compared to outside. Because the indoor rock climbing, there are mattresses on the floor. If you fall off accidentally, you won't get that hurt as much as you might do while doing outdoor rock climbing. So there are some personal requirements that you need to have: a helmet, climbing shoes, and crash chalk. Crash chalks are really important because when you do rock climbing or rock climbing on walls, your hands get really sweaty. So you need to apply that on your hands so you won't fall off on the ground. Also, there's only two skills: uh, footing techniques and also hand techniques. So the footing technique is when a climber uses the outside of the foot and they stand on a foot held while the side of the body faces the wall. And also there's a hand technique. This one is when a climber's hand can grip a hold using mainly fingers strength, especially the first joint in the fingers and also the second finger joints. This one is the handing um, techniques, and footing techniques is really important to know how to grip and put your hand on the rocks. And usually when we talk about rock climbing, if you have seen the movie of Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, you see the guy hanging from the rock, uh, hanging, and he is holding the rock with one hand while his rest of the body is just hanging. That's not how rock climbing is, or maybe there are some people who can do that way, but human body, the body weighs a lot more than hand, so it will be a little bit hard to do that. But it's not that's how it is. But actually, it's really fun and challenging, and maybe some of you guys can do that. So when it comes to rock climbing, it's of course it requires a lot of body strength because you're going up, so you need to have a lot of strength. And then, since even though climbing is rock climbing celebrates the skills of traditionally associated with femininity, such as flexibility, but because it's requires a lot of upper body strength, it's not support typed as feminines as other sports does. We have women and history that also have done it, still doing rock climbing. Leanne Hale, Lisa Rins, and Lucy Kramer, a naming couple, are some of the female pioneers in climbing, and they have demonstrated that women can climb such as hard and high as men can do. So climbing for both men and women, it has only one common meaning. Rock climbing is an activity that's challenging. But this phenomenon, however, mostly for men, they focus on the importance of the activity that generate these relationships. But for the women, the importance, they focus on the relationship themselves. And also, we have seen that girls already have a proven record in gymnastics because they have a very high strength to weight ratio, so which is really important, and it's exactly what's an advantage in rock climbing. So women are able to retain that leanness and high strength to weight ratio, can compete and even beat the best male rock climbers who have to resort to other physical advantage. So while men have the physical advantage in sports, um, uh, so there are women who are really good in rock climbing than guys. So I already said that there are women in history, but however, when I was doing my research on women and which gender are participate more in rock climbing, it was a list. I found a list of mostly guys who participated a lot in rock climbing, and their names are written in history. And the first person was also a male who participated in rock climbing. So we don't see that much women in history, but there are in daily the women in their daily lives. They also participate in rock climbing, and this could be, I think, that woman doesn't participate that much as men does, is because maybe because it is the media's analysis which reveals less emphasis on normative femininity than other types of media. So we had from the source that I got from the our reading Guilt of the Body, Beautiful Women's Athletes Sex Appeals. It was just was written that women comprise roughly 40% of athletes in organized sports, but media coverage of the women on the field is the amount is less than 10%. So it's one of the reasons that we don't see that much women being involved in sports is because of the media. This is one of the kind of my favorite quote that basically it summarizes the whole aspects of women participating in sports and how they are being portrayed or symbolizes. And this quote was also from The Guilt of the Body and Beautiful Women's Athletes Sex Appeals, was by Jubran, author was Jubran in Helen. So we can see from um, this quote that the rising trend of representing female Olympians as gorgeous beauty queens or sex positive emerges from a commonly held belief that in order for female athletes to be beloved, they must draw attention to themselves as women, whether they are be wives, mothers, or sex symbols. But the opposite in a male, if we look at the males in magazines, they're always looking unfriendly. They are standing aggressively, and they're wearing their shorts and t-shirts of their respective schools in the shot, and they're looking intense and detection sportsman. But on the other hand, if you see the woman, they are they are somehow being symbolized as a sex symbols, and how they are also being portrayed by their sex appeal. And also I from our reading was about Amanda Beard swimming. She was a swimmer, and she has won her 7 Olympics medal. But later on, she became partner with L'Oreal to launch her signature line of beauty products, and her for her it was a quote saying that she's an amazing athlete with a gorgeous body and beautiful eyes. She has it all. So we see that women even playing in sports, they don't get that attention, or their strength or their accomplish come doesn't put out there as much as their how beautiful they are, how they carry themselves, or what they are wearing. That much is put more out there. So people usually see even women in sports uh, as sex appeal, or being as a sex symbol. And talking about, if we talk about the idea of feminism, today feminism is viewed as a global and political movement organized around women's oppression that addresses more than purely economic issues. So nowadays it has been changed a lot, and then women participate a lot in sports. They do any sorts of sport, but still that it's still lacking compared to where we see men a lot on TV than we see women. So that media still has a big hand in it, and what when it comes to women playing any sports. And the idea of where these days advocates talk about, which is wholesome, and this is emphasis the need for appropriate activity for women and for women and girls. And also this expressed the concerns that sport activity would be too competitive for women and dangerous for their physical health. So this idea of socially appropriate leisure for women and girls is still evident today. And the activities that are offered by recreation service provides, and by activities in which parents typically enrolled their daughters. So we usually see girls in swimming, cheerleading, and yoga. So we don't see that much in women playing hockey or football or wrestling. And that debate of women playing on those sorts of sports is still, the debate on that still continues. And add to this, that I have asked my friends who were girls, and I have asked them about the idea of rock climbing, and they also have this idea that rock climbing is, of course, they consider it's very challenging and requires a lot of skills, but it's more manly sport. But they also love to try it once, and it's very surprising that nowadays even some women also has this view about this is a man's sport and this is a woman's sport. And very interesting that I found while I was taking break from my rock climbing, there was a bunch of magazines on the table, that on the cover, all the cover of those magazines had male. It was a guy was climbing, was doing rock climbing, and there was not a single picture of a girl on the back of the magazine where she was doing rock climbing. So basically, this idea, I think, somehow still exists of this is a man's sport and this is a woman's sport, and women are not considered that much playing hard sports than usually than men do. So my personal experience, that is me. That's how much I went up, and I got really scared of going up only from that point, and it was really scary. So first of all, the place I picked for my rock climbing was City Beach, and that's located in Fremont. It's a really nice place, very friendly, and the employee was really nice, and they told me, encouraged me not to get frightened, because the reason that I chose this rock climbing is because of I'm afraid of heights, and I'm sure there are a couple of my class fellows that they might also be afraid of heights, just like me.